What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to The Savvy Show. And in today's episode, we're going to react to another animation from Dr. Bob himself. And guys, I know there's a few that I haven't touched upon as of late. I believe there's 3 right now, but the latest one that he just dropped looks very interesting, and it just piqued my interest. First, the thumbnail made me feel really queasy, but I doubt it's going to be that gory. I feel like the thumbnail is more so to attract your attention, and the reason I think that is from the title of this SCP, which is called "A Fly is Your New Telepathic Therapist." So I doubt a therapist will go inside your body and lay eggs and just pop out of your hand. So yeah, with that title, it makes it seem like there's more than meets the eye than just being like, you know, a radioactive fly or something that lays eggs in humans. But it could be that too, which I wouldn't be bothered by because that would be kind of cool. But anyway, it piqued my interest and we're dabbling into it today. So with that being said, if you guys do enjoy this reaction and you guys like my style, please remember to smash that like button and smash that sub button as well too, so you do not miss an upload. And now, without any further ado, let's get this show started. Alrighty, SCP-3063. A fly is your new telepathic therapist. Let's go, man.
What is it that you want? Not just what you want in this moment. That's fleeting. You get it and move on. Or you don't, and you forget. No. What do you want? What do you yearn for? That humming dissatisfaction that underscores every moment of your life. The constant rumbling, always beneath the surface, that you can never put your finger on. Behind your computer monitor, at the bottom of your $4 coffee. That quiet moment when you go to the toilet at a friend's wedding and look at yourself in the mirror, asking, why am I not happy yet? This moment, this object, this feeling that I was looking forward to, why does it feel empty? A night in with your best friends, a promotion at work, a new car, a new house, all empty. So when I ask you again, I want you to be serious. None of that fake surface level fleeting drivel. What is it that you want? What will genuinely make you happy? The words buzz around the student's head.
That was hella deep right off the rip, bro. Damn, and this is free of charge, I'm assuming. I don't know how you could pay a fly for therapy advice, so yo, you got a good therapist on your hands. Unless you have some evil intentions, man, because that was a very direct and thought out question. And he gave examples where you can't just say money, cars, clothes, women. It's like, what really makes you happy deep down? When none of that is a factor, what would make you happy inside? Wow. I could answer that, but you know, I would love to hear what you guys think about that in the comment section below. I'll probably give my answer at the end of the video.
He hasn't listened to a word of this lecture, not for a moment. Last night's therapy session had clearly struck a bit too close to home. He'd never expected this new therapist to be so direct. What was it that he really wanted?
That's what I'm saying.
The student looks down at his laptop. He'd really wanted that. He'd spent months researching it, holding off on buying other models, waiting and saving up for the perfect computer.
Come on, he just gave you so many examples about how meaningless, materialistic things should not be your answer, because those stuff are fleeting. Come on, bro. You need to pay attention to these sessions until he just goes to another client.
And here it is, with the same old boring lecture notes on the screen as his old one. Within a week, he'd been back online looking up new phones. Here he is, 21 years old already, and studying for a degree he doesn't really care about. Surrounded by happy, smiling students who are all clearly going to be far more successful and happy than he'll ever be.
You don't know that.
Beautiful people everywhere he looks. People who know how to dress well, know how to have a conversation, how to smile and laugh with friends, how to have friends in the first place. His therapist is right. What's he got to be happy about? That dissatisfied humming running through his life is steadily turning into a roar. What would actually make him happy? The more he thinks about it, the more the sense of dread creeps in. What has he actually got to look forward to in life? What can fill that void? The lecture is over. He hadn't even realized. Everyone around him is already on their feet, putting notepads and laptops into bags, chatting away with their friends. The student doesn't have anyone else in his row. He's somehow picked the only row in the lecture hall with just one person in it. No, that's not the case.
No.
This is the only row in the lecture with just one person in it because he picked it. His only company on this row? A fly. a fly that had been following him around all week. What's the point?
What's the SCP?
He looks at his laptop screen. Empty. His phone buzzes. It's his mom.
Aw.
He declines the call.
Damn.
Swinging his bag onto his shoulder.
You don't want to talk to nobody, seems like. Seems like he's just a introvert, but like to the extreme. Just the little pieces of information that we got so far. So, yeah, let's see where this goes.
The student makes his way to the door. A group of guys up ahead are chatting loudly as they open it. One of them half glances back over his shoulder. He stops in the doorway, holding the door open. The student looks around. No one else was with him. Who's this guy holding the door open for? You okay?
The fly?
The guy asks, looking straight at the student. His eyes are very blue. The student rushes through the doorway, muttering a "thank you" on his way through. His phone starts to ring again in his pocket.
Okay, so this guy, there's something else going on, because I figured maybe he was about to bully him or something. He was waiting for everyone to be gone, but everyone seems nice and, just trying to get by.
He sits up alone that night. He does the same most nights. Even if he wanted to, he wouldn't be able to fall asleep. Sharing a house with 7 other people, there's a party happening in one part of the house pretty much every night. The thumping bass is the only sound to reach the student as he sits quietly at his window, looking out at the bags of trash lining the street and the couple across from him arguing on their porch. The little fly in his room is the only one keeping him company, not buzzing around or trying to escape through the glass, just sitting there next to him, watching the world go by. What is it that you really want? The words ring around in his head again. Tell me what will make you truly happy. What is it? I think I just want someone to love me, the student says quietly. He sits quietly by the window for a few more minutes, not noticing as the little fly next to him catches fire and rolls onto its back, legs curled in the air.
What the?
The student just goes to bed. Nothing's ever going to change.
Wait, yo, hold up. Is this telepathic therapist going to make his wants become reality? Because it just blew up. It kind of like reminds me of like, a genie. What's your wish? And like after, you give your third wish, the genie goes away. Seems like after he answers the question in a more direct and like, thought out answer compared to saying a new laptop, the fly might die and the dream might come true. But we shall see. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below when you got to this part.
Is it? A week later, the student is back in that same lecture again.
See.
He arrived early this week, sitting down and unpacking his stuff a good 15 minutes before they were due to start.
Is a girl gonna come?
Surreptitiously as he can, the student glances over at the door every time he hears it swing open.
A girl.
It's the usual procession of beautiful, happy people, each one dressed exactly how they want. Personalities, goals, and aspirations filling each of them. He looks down at his outfit. Gray. The lecture starts, but the student still can't quite focus. He keeps his head half turned towards the door the whole time, waiting. 10 minutes go by. Nothing. He slumps down in his chair and starts taking notes, just as the door softly creeps open behind him, making a gentle hushing noise on the carpet. The student turns. There he is, the guy from before with the blue eyes. The student tries his best to swallow his grin. He's the only one in his row. If he can just get the guy's attention, maybe he'll come and sit with him. But no, that's a stupid plan.
That's maybe what okay, that makes sense, because that was the only dude that said something to him. Damn, and that's kind of sad when you think about it, bro. You're waiting for the guy that just held the door open for you to... Yeah, that's really sad.
Why would anyone want to come and... The bag lands in the seat next to him. The student turns to see those same piercing blue eyes. Anyone sitting here? The guy whispers. The student opens his mouth to reply, but the words get stuck. After a second, he manages to shake his head. The guy with the blue eyes grins and sinks into the seat. After a moment, he asks if he can borrow a pen. That's funny. The student can see a pen right there in the side pocket of the guy's bag. Why would this guy choose to sit with him? There are plenty of free seats in this lecture hall. They're everywhere.
Bro, don't ruin the moment, man. Just give him a pen. You have someone willing to at least interact with you. Don't blow that chance.
One thing's for sure. The student definitely can't talk to this guy afterwards. No way. He's too weird, it'll be obvious. No one ever wants to have a conversation with him. Everyone he talks to is always sidling their way out of the room after just a couple of minutes. Besides, what if this guy finds out what he's really like? That he's been seeing a therapist. Not just a therapist. That would be pretty normal. Normal people do that. No, what if this guy found out that his therapist was a fly?
Oh, that would be weird.
A fly that had been following him around, that he'd been talking to every night before bed.
So he's aware that it's a fly. That wasn't so clear in the beginning. And if he was aware about it, wouldn't you freak out after he just burst into flames? Wouldn't you think that's kind of weird?
A fly that had been asking him what his deepest desires were. A fly that he'd woken up to find dead and burnt on his windowsill this morning. Nope, no way is he going to have a conversation with this guy.
What happened in
It
front
would
of
just
you?
be a disaster. There's no other option. He has to call his mom. As soon as the lecture is over, he'll call her and deal with whatever it is she has to say.
Oh my god.
He takes the phone out of his pocket and stealthily gets his mom's contact details up, ready
Really?
to hit the call button as soon as the lecture finishes. There, the final slide. The student hits dial and immediately turns away from the blue-eyed guy next to him, getting up and putting it to his ear. He shoulders his bag and marches out of the lecture hall, not
my
looking back
God.
until he reaches the little square of grass outside where he sits. His heart doesn't stop hammering until he's sitting there. His mom takes a long time to pick up. When she does, it's clear that she's been crying.
Oh no.
Not this again. The student swallows and prepares for her to start ranting. Only she doesn't. Instead, she just asks where he is and if she can drive over and get a coffee with him. He says yes, hangs up, and looks down at the phone, brow furrowed. What's she got to say to him this time?
What happened? I'm thinking about some situations, but I don't want to be that guy, but there could be a few possibilities. Infidelity, the parents are split now, and the mom's trying to, rekindle whatever she had with her son. Or he told his parents that he's gay. Who knows? Because the wants that he wanted is, someone to love him. And then I figured a girl will sit next to him, but a guy came along. So I will go more that lane. He probably told him that he's gay to his mom, and the mom didn't accept it at first and probably kicked him out. Who knows? And now she's just trying to accept reality, and he's not having it. So would make sense, because why else would a guy sit next to him if he wants love, unless it's like friendship, but I don't think he meant that in that context.
A shadow falls over him. Turning, the student just sees two blue eyes. The guy is holding out the borrowed pen, a gentle smile on his face. His mom doesn't come for coffee in the end. Instead, she invites herself over to his house. It's the first time she's visited. As they make their way up all the flights of stairs to his floor, the student holds his breath, waiting for her to start complaining about the cigarette butts, ashtrays, and pizza boxes lining the hallways. But she doesn't. She doesn't say a word. He closes the door to his room behind her, and she lets out a sympathetic little sigh, looking around. He probably should have tidied first. Here it comes. He can feel it. She's about to start lecturing him on his dirty clothes, leftover dishes, his unmade bed. But no, she just quietly picks up a sweater and starts folding it. Then another. As she tidies his room, she shoots him a sad little smile. This house really won't do. He explains to her that it's all he can afford at the moment. Well, then let me help you so you can find somewhere better. What's going on here? He doesn't know how to react. This is surely one of her games. Any second she's going to lash out at him. But no, she just gently brushes the dead fly off the windowsill into the trash and turns to him. They stand across the room from each other, the same way they always have, 8 feet between them, plenty of space, not too close. She closes the distance and pulls him in for a tight hug. As his mom buries her head in his chest, he notices for the first time how short she really is.
Aww.
Has she always been that height? Didn't she used to tower over him? Her muffled voice speaks into his chest, right into where his heart is beating.
When's the last time you saw your mom? I hope that wasn't a realistic comment. That would be kind of weird, just saying. Unless something else is going on that we don't know about.
So sorry for how I responded before. I didn't know what to say. You're my son, and I'm proud of you. I always have been. You love who you love. Don't let anyone take that away from you.
Yo, was I right? He's gay! Yo, I'm spot on, bro. I honestly didn't want to say that to be the first, assumption. But, yo, that's what I was leaning towards when I was waiting for a girl to come through the door. And that dude came through. I'm like, yo, my dude's gay. Honestly, it's okay. But I figured the mom didn't accept it. Because, come on, what mom would want to accept it, right off the bat, when I'm assuming that mom's whole life thought that her son was straight. So, yo. But let's just get the confirmation before I pat myself on the back.
Even your silly old mother. For a long time, the two of them stand there, crying together. It is a busy week moving everything into his new apartment. It's still a pretty basic place, but at least it's his own. The neighbors are quiet, the street is clean, and there are no flies.
Okay.
By the time the student sits down for his lecture, he's completely exhausted. He barely registers the bag landing on the floor next to him and the guy sitting in the seat. He's so tired, in fact, that the conversation catches him off guard. He hadn't prepared anything to say.
Oh, yeah, same
Suddenly,
I think
they're talking.
Yeah.
About the weather at first. It's sunnier now. Then about the class. Then why they chose to study here. Then their teenage years. Then their homes and families. The lecture starts, but the two of them keep muttering away to each other in hushed tones. The student cracks a joke, and the guy with blue eyes laughs. Properly laughs. He isn't just being polite, he actually found it funny. So funny that the lecturer tells the pair of them off, which just makes them laugh more. Is this what it's like? To be one of the beautiful, happy people? Days go.
No, that's just being happy, man. Like, beauty is not attached to being happy. You're just being happy. Just live in the moment.
Go by, and the student wakes up every morning expecting it to be over. He's going to wake up any minute now, and he'll be back in his old house with a talking fly waiting for him by the window. But he doesn't. It's sunny, day after day, week after week. No flies in sight.
Nice.
He calls his mom. He doesn't just pick up the phone to her. He actually starts to call her. He goes to parties, discovers he likes white wine, and finds out what it's like to have a bit too much of it.
Hey,
he has his first kiss and opens his eyes to see a pair of perfect blue ones staring back at him.
What can I say, guys? I had to. It made sense. I'm sure you guys caught that too from the beginning, especially when he says he just wants to be in love or just wants someone to love him, and the guy came through. Yeah, come on. But that's awesome. I mean, there's a different twist that Dr. Bob's doing, and I like it.
He makes friends, more friends than he can count. Friends who text him asking to hang out, who help him move house, then move house again, and who fill up rows and rows of seats the day he gets married to the man he loves. The man who loves him back. Is this what it feels like?
There's got to be a catch, guys. It has to be a catch. It's an SCP, bro. Come on.
Is this happiness? Maybe, just maybe, this is it.
Please don't tell me he's dreaming too. Like, please. That's going to be so shitty. Like, that's really messed up. Come on.
Until one day, the man wakes up. Everything's perfect. The sun is still shining. He can hear his daughter's squeals from downstairs. His world is still happy. Except for one thing. His ear hurts. Not that much, but there's a little something. A kind of dull itch deep in his ear canal. The other ear starts to hurt as he makes his morning coffee. He should probably go to the doctor about it. He'll book that this week. But by that night, he knows he probably shouldn't wait any longer. He lies awake deep into the night, feeling his lungs tightening. You're not supposed to feel your lungs, are you? But it's not just his lungs.
What?
It's his throat, too, and his bowels. All of a sudden, his stomach starts convulsing. He throws off the sheets and rushes into the bathroom, not quite making it to the toilet. His vomit splatters across the tiles. He must be getting delirious.
Don't tell me this is going to be like fly eggs in the vomit. Yo, is the thumbnail actually accurate?
That can't be right. It looks like his vomit is moving, wriggling, and crawling. His husband appears behind him, switching on the light.
Yo!
The two of them stare in horror at the writhing maggots covering the bathroom.
Bro, this is one... Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, Dr. Bob really did go there. Oh my goodness. I remember there was another SCP that queased me to freak out. I think it was like an earwig one. No, was it? Oh, what was that one? It was a cringy ass, like, well, at least for me, I just felt so sticky and like itchy all over. I'm going to look it up and let you guys know at the end of the video. Or I might tag it if I find it. But that one, man, that was something else. And I feel like I'm getting the same type of vibes.
Floor. The x-rays and MRIs paint a grueling picture. Each progressive scan over the next couple of days looks worse than the last. What had once been healthy flesh and organ tissue steadily has deeper rivets chaotically
eaten into it. That was too good to be true.
The maggots work their way through the man's throat, lungs, stomach, sinuses, ears, bowels, and urethra. In some places, they run out of flesh and end up burrowing their way out of the surface of his skin. By the time the maggots mature into flies, the man is on his deathbed. Excessive blood loss, organ failure, and multiple infections have worn his body down to a husk.
What the heck?
There's nothing left to be done for him. All that the man's husband, children, mother, and countless friends can do is stand by.
And that a black daughter too. Go figure.
And watch, as one by one, thousands of flies emerge from the body of the man they'd once loved so dearly.
Damn, that's dirty. So you get your wish, but you die at the end of the day. What's the purpose of, you know what, when you think about it, he got what he wanted. Like, when you actually think about it. Because what if he said, I want to live a happy and long life, or I just want to live a long life. I don't want to die young. Would he, have a happy life up until he's 80, and then the flies will take over his body? Like maybe he just wasn't too specific about the duration of how long he wanted to, feel love. Man, and honestly, I can't really blame the fly because it warned him. It said, be specific. Like, it was a very direct question. Like, you should have made it clear that you maybe want to live a happy and long life with someone that you truly love and build a family or something like that. But he just says, oh, like, just someone to love. I think you did to yourself.
Heartbreaking as it may be, this is the sad reality of what you sign up for when you make a deal with SCP-3063, known informally as the Fly. This SCP on the surface seems like one of the most harmless that the Foundation has encountered, taking the appearance of a common housefly. It has no extraordinary physical properties, nothing apparent to distinguish it from any other fly, and yet it is one of the most powerful entities with an apparent ability to somehow alter reality itself. It is believed that SCP-3063 only exists in one instance at a time, though this is very difficult to prove given the sheer number of flies that exist around the world.
For real.
As soon as one instance of SCP-3063 dies, a new one seems to manifest in a random location. Naturally, this makes studying the Fly very difficult indeed. As far as the Foundation is aware, the Fly communicates with its human target telepathically. It interrogates them, trying to discover what they want most in the world. It will then offer the individual that exact thing. If they refuse, it will make increasingly grand offers, tempting them with greater and greater promises until they accept.
So his acceptance was to, talk to that guy. Like, if he actually started, building a connection, that's him accepting the deal. He still doesn't understand what he's going to be losing at the end of the deal, though.
When I said this was one of the most powerful known SCPs, I was not exaggerating, because this Fly does not make empty promises. Do you want to become a millionaire? You might wake up tomorrow to a number of anonymous bank transfers or a handful of lottery tickets pushed through your letterbox. Do you want to become an opera singer? The next time you sing in the shower, you'll find a whole new voice coming from your chest. Who knows? You may have left the window open and a superstar agent could be strolling by your house at that exact moment. Whatever it is that you tell the Fly that you want, it will be granted. The little insect will catch fire and die straight away, appearing somewhere else in the world, ready to start talking to someone else.
I was pretty spot on with my assumption of what this SCP would be about. I figured it would be some kind of genius, especially when it just burst into flames. When he gave a more, somewhat subpar answer, just want someone to love. Like, if he would have said laptop or something, I don't think that would have came true, really, because it wasn't as, like, come on. I don't think the Fly would do that. That'd be kind of messed up, but, yeah.
Your answered wish may not always take the form you expect, but it will be given to you. Just like our student finding love everywhere he went for the next 6 years. Or, to be more precise, 2,376 days. You see, as soon as you make a deal with this Fly, the clock is ticking. For 2,376 days, you will be free to enjoy your dream coming true, no strings attached. Until one day, you wake up with a little bit of discomfort, like something growing inside of you. Eggs, anything from 5,000 to 20,000 in number.
Okay, so 2,076 days or whatever he said. What if you wanted to live 3,000 days? What if that was your wish to the Fly? Would the Fly not go through it? Because obviously the Fly can't make that happen because there's a timeline where this will happen and he won't make it to that day. So the Fly can't really make everything come true unless I'm not understanding something. Let me know in the comment section below. But if he asked that Fly if he could live 3,000 days of pure bliss and happiness, would the Fly actually do it, or would it just, would he get ripped off and die early?
Will suddenly appear throughout your body. In your digestive system, respiratory system, and even your muscle fibers, small maggots will be born comprising all known Diptera species. They will steadily eat away at your body, feeding their way out of you and growing into regular adult flies as they emerge. Most individuals die from multiple organ failures during this stage. It can often be difficult to identify the exact cause of death, as the attack on the body's central systems is so absolute, devastating, and swift. If the individual dies before the 2,376th day, then the process is halted and the flies die along with them. Attempts to contain SCP-3063 have all proven unsuccessful. To date, 6 members of SCP Foundation personnel have been targeted by the Fly.
Dang.
Each of them have tried to make a different wish to contain the Fly, but each has had a loophole exposed. Senior researcher Elizabeth Dow requested the death of SCP-3063, which the Fly interpreted as the death of that manifestation, combusted and returned in another instance. Senior researcher David Roberts asked for the permanent containment of SCP-3063. The Fly then stood totally still, allowing itself to be taken into secure containment below Site-63. But sure enough, after 2,376 days, the researcher died, and the Fly was discovered to still be manifesting around the world. It again had interpreted its containment to refer to just that current instance of its body. A later researcher requests knowledge of how SCP-3063 functions, at which point the fly combusted and a document containing all known information about SCP-3063, everything I am telling you now, appeared before the researcher, who later died. The penultimate test conducted by SCP personnel proved to be the most chilling.
This is kind of goofy, to say the least, because if these researchers know what this SCP is about, why aren't you using D classes to make these wishes? You know you're going to die when you hit that day limit. Why are you doing it? Just tell a D class, say this to the freaking SCP so you can still survive. These are researchers, not D classes, so what are you guys doing here?
Dr. Patrick McGann asked the fly if it could provide clear, understandable knowledge of SCP-3063 other than knowledge currently possessed by the SCP Foundation. The results of that exact experiment and the next one were provided for him, including details of his own death, which he immediately fulfilled. Either the fly has some precognizant abilities or is able to directly control events in the world, or both. The final experiment was conducted even though the fly had already provided the results in detail ahead of time. Dr. Jonathan Mabry simply asked, "Is there even a choice?" before suffering a severe pulmonary embolism and dying on the way to the hospital.
Off the rip?
Research indicates that SCP-3063 has been operating for over 4,000 years, with evidence of instances being discovered as far back as early Canaanite settlements. However, many theorize that the fly has been with us a lot longer than that. Unless future containment efforts are more successful, SCP-3063 will likely remain one of the most powerful and prolific entities outside of containment.
Dang.
So next time you see a fly buzzing around your room, it might be in your best interest to leave it alone. If you want to support this important mission...
Wow, that's what I gotta say about this SCP. I did not think it would be this powerful. And honestly, I didn't think the thumbnail would be so accurate as of how this SCP would turn out. From just the title of it, I thought it'd be a more normal and not deadly SCP, but maybe with something like bad along the lines, but like not like something serious like this. But your boy's not always right. But this was crazy, man. This is a cool and powerful SCP. If you guys enjoyed this one as well, please let me know by smashing that like button, guys. Let's get like 100 likes on this one at least before the next reaction, and also smash that sub button. Do not miss an upload, guys. So with that all out the way, unfortunately, that concludes today's awesome episode. However, I'll catch you guys on the next one.